President Trump will head to Capitol Hill tomorrow to talk about immigration policy with congressional Republicans. This comes as GOP leaders hope to take action on immigration reform legislation this week and put an end to an issue that threatens to turn into a public relations disaster, as previously explained. Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel is on Capitol Hill tonight.
The zero-tolerance immigration policy is now making some Republicans on Capitol Hill uncomfortable.
It's clear this is a very sympathetic, tugs at your heartstrings sort of picture and narrative, but I think it's a little more complicated than that.
It is inconsistent with our American values to separate these children from their parents.
Collins and Arizona Republican Senator Jeff Flake sent this letter to the Secretaries of Homeland Security and Health and Human Services, writing Congress must know how the nation's laws are being implemented, quote, especially when the well-being of young children is at stake. There's also pressure from the left. California Democrat Senator Dianne Feinstein has offered a bill to ban separating families.
I never thought the United States of America would be separating children from their parents, infants from their parents, nursing mothers from their infants. It's terrible, and we've got to stop it.
President Trump met today with Republican Senators Richard Shelby and Shelley Moore Capito, with Mr. Trump wanting funding for his border wall and Shelby trying to pass funding bills in a bipartisan fashion. Across the Capitol, House lawmakers are expected to consider two different immigration reform plans this week: a conservative measure from Judiciary Chairman Bob Goodlatte and a carefully crafted compromise based on President Trump's 4 pillars.
It's got border security in there. It's got funding for the wall the president really wants. It's got the technology and boots on the ground.
The president's expected to meet with House Republicans tomorrow night to personally make the case for addressing illegal immigration. McCall says lawmakers must get it done.
The threats, as I get briefed by the secretary and the ICE director, potential terrorists and drug cartels and all the other stuff is real.
On the issue of separating children from their parents, Texas Senator Ted Cruz has just introduced emergency legislation. It calls for hiring more border immigration judges, building temporary shelters to keep the families together, and for families that are determined that should not get asylum, deporting them within 2 weeks. We'll see if that's the fix, Brett.
Mike, another issue. What about the pending showdown between President Trump and the Senate over Chinese telecom firm ZTE?
Well, Brett, President Trump has his plan to help revive ZTE, the Chinese telecom giant. The Senate, even the president's allies, is looking to block that deal. They have included language inside a giant defense authorization bill that's coming up for a vote in the Senate this evening. Lawmakers are not interested in reviving a company that has been alleged to work with both Iran and North Korea. And so definitely a showdown between the U.S. Senate and the president on the ZTE issue. Brett.
All right, we'll follow that. Mike Emanuel live on the Hill. Mike, thanks.